kind of embarrassing, but it's okay. I am on a journey to get the Platinum Trophy in every single Borderlands game, and we are so close. We've done 1, 2, 3, the pre-sequel, the Telltale games, and the finish line is in sight, because it's time for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I know this doesn't even have Borderlands in a title, but there's no way I could leave this one out. But if you somehow found the video and have no idea what Wonderlands is, it's pretty much a spin-off game inspired by the Bunkers and Badasses DLC in Borderlands 2, which was also inspired by D&D, because we're all sitting around having a game of Dungeons and Dragons. Normally here I do a little, oh, who are we gonna play? And we go through the character breakdowns, but in Wonderlands we actually make our own character. The only separation is classes, and since Wonderlands added bonk sticks, I'm going to do a melee build. So everyone say hello to Karen the Stabbermancer. Stabbermancer because bonking, and Karen because, well, look at her. She wants to speak to the manager with her hands. And we aren't a Vault Hunter anymore, we are a Fate Maker. As we follow Queen Stallion's trail, finding an axe that I use to make some crab sticks and get my first weapon. It's funny how it's just a pistol with a bow on the front because fantasy. I get a few practice swings taking out some scaly men, and I get my first shield. Sorry, I mean ward because fantasy. I revive a peasant-ass peasant and get my action skill. The purple spinny blade. I think it's called a ghost blade. Either way, I'll use it constantly. And I find my first grenade, I mean spell because fantasy, and also get ding trophy because our journey has begun. I find my way to the Dragon Lord's tomb where I take on Ribula the only way I know how. Bonk, 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 bonk. But we are too late. The Dragon Lord has been resurrected, leaving us in the dust getting ding trophy. This brings us to the overworld, and I have such mixed feelings about this. We're teeny tiny with a massive head, but remember, we are still Karen. That means that we're like a little pop vinyl, except we will record you and put you on Facebook. The overworld is just a bunch of random encounters, and I mean a lot of them. We just fight waves of guys for no reason until the game lets you move on. So I try my best to avoid these like the plague, but I am required to 100% this for the plat. And I can punch down bottle caps that act as a shortcut in the overworld before I run off to Brighthoof because we're worried about the Queen. And those fears are correct because the place is under attack by countless scaly men. Well, probably not countless, but you know, at least 5. Taking them out introduces us to Paladin Mike, who sounds pretty much identical to Lore from Borderlands 3 and the Tales games, and they give us C4, sorry, I mean Fantasy 4, to take out the catapult that are assaulting the city. I blow them into glitter and rainbow bits, but then undestroy one of the catapults so I can fire myself across the gap. Here's where I fight some scaly mages and same frame myself, bringing the one life to an abrupt end only 42 minutes into the gameplay, and probably 2 minutes into the video. But with nothing broken other than my pride, I confusingly wander around the catapult trying to attach the bomb. Yeah, I broke the game. One respawn later and taking everyone out again lets me actually attach the C4 to blow it up. And I regroup with Mike defending the castle from trolls, hitting them with my bonk stick, but it's barely doing anything, so I use my ghost blade and bullets technique instead, and with the Queen defended I can venture into town. Although there's already bandits inside, so I guess that was pointless. Not to mention whole ass dragons. I get down here, but fighting back to my feet gets me what's called a death save in this game. Small touch, but I like it. Ding, trophy. I then seduce a bridge into lowering her drawers for me. What does that even mean, Lewis? As I fight through Main Street, and finishing them off gets me ding, trophy. These trophies are coming fast, and speaking of coming fast, let's go meet the Queen. The horse made of literal diamonds, it's our fearless leader, Stallion, and we follow her to a graveyard looking for the Sword of Souls, because we think, well honestly, I'm not too sure what we think, I got distracted shopping, but you know, ding trophy. And then fight Zomboss, who wants to get the sword to give it to the Dragon Lord, because apparently the Sword of Souls whole thing is that it can resurrect the dead, but based on the countless amounts of scaly men I've already put back in the ground, being resurrected doesn't seem that difficult. The path is blocked and we need to read from a certain book. No big deal though, it's just in this chest right here. It's a mimic, oh god. One small jump scare later, I find some D20 dice. I have to find a bunch of these to increase my loot luck to get better weapons, and also a trophy. I read the passage and enter the crypt that reminds me of fighting the Draugr in Skyrim. Man, I freaking love Skyrim. I should do that video at some point. I drop into the arena, I take out the Zomboss's 2 health bars in 2 seconds, and I get the sword and charge it by then destroying Zomboss's soul. A little dark, but whatever, they were a bad guy. The sword brings the light back to the kingdom, but Stallion has a little dancey dance. Can horses dance? Isn't that what the thing's called? Triage? dressage. I can now carry more bullets, and I hate this place with a passion, but I'll come back to exactly why later. I unlocked the quick change, but Karen is perfect how she is, although it turns out powering up the sword and bringing it back to the middle of town makes it 1,000 times easier for the Dragon Lord to get it and slay the queen. Straight up decapitating her and holding her head. That's so hard. I couldn't believe how brutal this is, watching her leak glitter. Ding trophy, hell yeah. To go after him, we need a ship, so we build one nice and easy, but we're told we need to get it blessed by a bard before we can set sail or it'll be cursed. But I don't believe in no fortune cookie star sign nonsense, so I say screw it, and I should have brought my armband. So I now go find a bard to do that blessing, but this path is blocked by a what's-it? I think Americans call them Cheetos? Either way, we have to do another random encounter to clear the path, and we can continue with our quest. That's until the game says no, the next area is too high of a level, so we need to grind a bit. That means it's time to go to our favorite holiday destination, Side Quest City! The first one has us helping a craftsman make magical bridges, but we need to get the blueprints for him to make them, so we have to do a random encounter, and I'll be honest, this is most of the side quest. Hey, speak to a guy, go do a random encounter to get what he needs, go back to the guy. So I will skip through a lot of these in the video, but we now have the Rainbow Bridge. Hell yeah, Pride Month. This video probably won't be finished in June. I then join a goblin uprising called the GTFO, as we fight for goblin freedom from the hands, or wings I should say, of the dragon god Vorkana. The first test being Oracle Merigi, who's quite a tank to be fair to the little lad. So I hang some GTFO posters, take out another Oracle, and since you love me being illiterate, I'll try and say their name. Amenzok, sure. Merigi and Amenzok. I sound like a fucking sim. I raise a flag, and Joe, the little gobbo guy, gives me a speech as I free 5 captive gobbos, but I guess they aren't also grateful as I get dropped by one of them. And I'd normally make a joke here about going to the light at the end of the oh so familiar blue tunnel, but Wonderlands has replaced that. We just get smashed straight back into the game, so I don't actually get a chance to think or even learn from my mistakes. But the prisoners being free ends that quest, so you know the whole thing about the dragon god? Yeah, don't worry about it, I guess, I don't know. And on the way to the next SQC, I bonk a gobbo in the overworld getting ding trophy. I carve some statues, do another random encounter for a shrine piece. Shrines just give us small buffs. I'll be doing all of these off screen for the 100% just because it's all random encounters, so instead I'll do my best Minecraft impression gathering lead from the overworld, which requires yet another random encounter. Back to main quest city? That's not a thing, but we're looking for the bard who can bless our ship so we can sail across the sea, and I'll let Tina do his introduction. We have to help him destroy these evil crystals, so I protect him while he does his magic guitar solos, getting me ding trophy as we go from crystal to crystal, solo to solo, bringing life back to the forest because something is corrupting these woods, or should I say someone. Bum bum bum. Meet Banshee. This is the first proper boss battle, I'd say, because they have set moves and paths that you have to learn and dodge and things. I actually really love this. It's the closest we're going to get to a Borderlands meets Souls game, I think. It makes the boss fights a little bit more than running in circles holding the shoot button, you know. And taking her out also frees Brick the Punch Father. He looks absolutely fabulous with his wings. And going back to Brighthoof gets us ding trophy. Torg absolutely pops off here, having a jam session. We have guitars, we have drums, pianos, even a frickin' cowbell. And if I knew how to emote, I'd be throwing it back about now. Torg then goes rogue, firing a magic missile blowing up the entire ocean. And trying to get a better view of the chaos, I kinda sorta go for a swim myself, like Michael Scott in a koi pond. And I'll be honest, this is pretty as hell. It reminds me of Fallout or something, as we get our very own ding trophy. And then we get to multi-class, and honestly I spend far too long looking at all the different options for having an extra class. Ultimately decide, screw it, Karen the Bonks-a-Lot does not need another class. I pick anything and just max out the Sabermancer tree anyway. The ocean, now barren, means we don't need that ship anymore, and it opens the path to a hell of a lot more side quests today. First is helping Claptrap, who's become the blacksmith's apprentice, where he lied on his resume. He doesn't have a clue what he is doing, so we are gonna fake it till we make it together, baby. I break into the quarry, taking out some of the wildlife and collect as much iron as I can. Next to obsidian, which thankfully doesn't take forever to mine, and I find a magic ring with it. The next place has permafrost ore and a fancy cape. I take it all back to the forge, but everything we make goes terribly, so Claptrap lies and says we made the ring and the cloak. Only one problem with that plan though, we're lying to the original creator later, the blacksmith made them and recognized them, so decides to turn full Beyblade and fighters.
I'm spinning around.
I take him out, and I guess the Claptrap, the student, has become the master, technically. I then find a gobbo named Bench. He's getting terrorized by Baldar the Ghastly, an evil wizard, so I seduce him into leaving the little guys alone, which goes about as well as my seduction in real life because he runs away screaming. I roll a few more loot dice though as I track down the others that are messing with Bench too. Next up, a gobbo named Snack, and come on, look at him in the eyes and you tell me he is not a snack. Of course I had to seduce him. He falls hopelessly in love with me and opens the path. Then, being overly confident, I try and fail to sleep with someone else, and then I have to give them a permanent slumber because the implication. Saving the day the only way I know how, through failed romance. What do you call someone who uses a fake account to play against lower ranks? Oh yeah, a Murph. I help old Murph here because they're getting attacked by infected boys in blue. They're teeny tiny with their little white hats, and this mission is so fun because there's so many of them but they die in one hit. So I just go crazy with my bunk stick until I give Garglesnot a visit, who is Murphet's father. As Garglesnot kidnaps her, I get ambushed by more boys in blue, so I go around grabbing, let's call them ingredients, in the hopes of making a cure for the blue rage. But it turns out it's not a cure at all. It just makes bouncy mushrooms. I guess the only cure for their kind is murder. And when I reach Murphet, she's held captive by Garglecock. I didn't mean that. But I take on the fella using my ghost blade and he goes down fast, so that ends their infection. So I guess the Murphs are now free to go back ruining my Counter-Strike games. I then meet the lake lady, who I guess shops for bras at the same place as PS2 Lara Croft. And she has some noisy neighbors keeping her up all through the night, so we're gonna go talk to them. They have a freaking drum circle. As they're party rocking, I am forced to put a silence on their fun. And now she has what she wants. She doesn't need us anymore, so she tries to take us out too, and it does not work out well for her. Honestly, she should have seduced me. It probably would have worked. I'm a slut. I then find a chunky little devil named Zigzagas. We need to help him get his powers back by doing unspeakable acts of evil, such as cutting in line, which as a British person I find absolutely repugnant, and putting a whoopee cushion on his chair. Oh, and who can forget not keeping off the grass. Zigzagas needs a new body, and unfortunately the catacombs are no good for him, so we find a suitable host behind bars instead. I don't think I'm the good guy here. Ding, trophy. Have you ever met the Tooth Fairy? No, I do not mean Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I mean this fabulous fella. They say they'll give us all the pennies in the world for all the teeth we can find. I go knock them out of a few calcium deficient scaly bob, and the fairy tells us if we want the real money we need variety. So I go grab some gobbo teeth targeting the weak jawed and testing that name, and then we find out where baby mimics come from as the Tooth Fairy tries to get their hands on our own paley white. I then stumble across Jack's beadstalk and remember the whole thing with Butt Stallion getting game ended a while back. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get back to that eventually. Anyway, I climb that big thick stalk and find the Punch Father waiting for us. We help him free the town from evil, and this is probably my favourite map in the game. Bouncing on these toadstools, fighting giant mushrooms. I'm basically in Mario's personal heaven if there was a turtle or two to squish. And just like Torgalia destroying the crystals, the Punch Father destroys the dark magic flowers whilst I protect them from the shrooms. And there are a bunch of different types of shrooms that need different elements. You know what beats elements? A good old punch in the mouth. More like bitter bonk. I clear the cathedral and defend Fairy Brick again from the spiteful Bloom, and I head to the castle. You know the drill by now. More enemies, more protecting him. As I take out the mini-boss Malevolent, a girlie from Disney with the horns. And with the parasite weakened, I go down the biggest slide in the world to go to their lair. The boss doesn't have an intro cutscene though, or even a different name. He's just another little waddling guy. Well, until he waddles no more, I guess. And like that, the town is saved, getting ding trophy. I then meet Zoseph, a magic man who's locked out of his own house by his apprentice. He makes me teeny tiny and I climb my way inside. The apprentice is actually performing the Dark Sacrament, which doesn't contact the Dark Brotherhood unfortunately, but does summon a boss battle. Caster, the regular size Skelly Bob, but since we're teeny tiny it takes me a little while since I need to fend off the caked up mushrooms and shoot him in the face over and over again. And I do get downed here but ultimately roll a death saving throw on Caster's face. But enough SQCs, we have a Dragon Lord to defeat. Let's go find them. I crossed a barren ocean floor, meeting Bones Freewood. He is on our side, but the way forward is blocked by LeChance. So we're doing pirates versus pirates here. I take out his right-hand men, one at a time, till we go to the captain's ghost ship, where it's his last LeChance to run away. And if you think that's a bad joke, it's downhill from here, people. He probably should have ran though, because I take him the hell out here, and I plunder his booty, getting ding, trophy. And now I need to cross the invisible bridges, and in this game, it can only mean one thing: more random encounters. Whoa. I take them all out, getting the spyglass that we need to go across these ghost bridges. That means we can get to Charnock's Wall, and I hate this place. It's just a bunch of hardcore parkour with crystal puzzles, whilst being a massive maze, so I constantly get lost going round in circles. After far too long, I make it to the top with Wasted, who helps us clear a path before he gets cursed by the Dragon Lord, making us fight him, leading to a where he killed me? What a bitch! Round 2, almost the same fate, but I managed to save myself and very slowly get my revenge, because I'm pretty under-leveled here, so he does tank a lot of hit. We break the curse and probably his legs, getting them back into his old body, getting us ding, trophy. But the road ahead is level 27 and only being 23 ourselves, so being thrown to our favourite place, Side Quest City, although it's more like Random Encounter City. Do a bunch of fetch quests, I get a bunch of shrine pieces and random crap for a few hours off screen. Thankfully though, there are a few actual fun side quests I can talk about. We meet Otto, who wants us to help him build a real boy. All of his limbs have been swallowed by different sand sharks, a few crabs, and even a few guys, because the pirate is using the puppet as a peg leg, so I, let's say, retrieve it. And then I head into the belly of the beast, quite literally a giant whale at Torg beached in the explosion, which is sad, but I'm just happy we don't have to smash through it like the boys. Inside the whale is Vesetta, an evil witch who reveals the puppet is actually Otto's son. But it's actually backfired, because we take her out, and what was gonna just be a wooden lad ends up getting reincarnated in his original body by the name of Nico. Oh, Pinocchio, I just got that. The father, being absolutely content and overjoyed, drops dead on the spot for some reason. Now it's time to get my steps in as I take little Pookie on a walk. She turns giant and terrorizes the locals, but as long as she leaves me alone, I don't mind too much. But unfortunately, when we get home, she loses control. I'm just too tasty. So I have to give her a little bow and bullet sandwich till she calms down. So let's carry on chasing the Dragon Lord, shall we? We go to Osugol Necropolis, sure. And the story's about to get really meta, so bear with me here as I explain what's going on. You know how Deadpool knows he's in a comic? Well, the Dragon Lord knows he's not in control of his destiny. He somehow knows that the Bunker Master Tiny Tina is. So he wants to free us all from her control. What could that possibly mean? How could he possibly do that? Don't know, don't worry about it. We have to fight our way into the pyramid, taking out the cursed and corrupted along the way. I'm heading over to the Hall of Heroes, which is pretty much when the good people die, that's where they end up. I guess it's like Valhalla, or what's another one of those places? Oh, heaven, I guess. I have to fight waves and waves of badasses as I do to cleanse the place of evil. But once I reach the Hall of Heroes, the Dark Lord has even managed to corrupt the soul of the beautiful Stallion, turning her into Nightmare. Great name, by the way. Love that. It's actually a really easy fight, but she goes full Beyblade too, and then back into her spooky, scary ghost form, which I go all Luigi's Mansion on. And the Dragon Lord says, I can't blame him for any of his actions because it isn't him, it's Tina controlling him. He was a hero in a previous campaign and she turned him into the monster, forcing him to do all of these things. So I guess Tina is the big bad Bunker Master? Are we gonna fight her? I don't think Borderlands is in the business of killing kids. She does, however, crash out and stop playing the game, so the Dragon Lord now has control over his own destiny and he chooses to be evil this time, so we can finally take him on to end this. But there's quite a lot of cleanup to do, so for one final time, say it with me now. Side Quest City! Remember Volcano, the one messing with the Gobbos earlier? Turns out we can find them, and it's actually a robot dragon. It doesn't seem like much of a problem. It can't even move for this area. It's welded to the ground. And it died super quickly. Super anticlimactic, but talking to Jar again gets us ding, trophy. I then hunt down 3 Siren Sisters, not the hot Lilith, Maya, and Amara kind, but more the mythology kind. The Sliver Sisters. I find them and they send seduced sailors after us. Hey, do not threaten me with a good time. Before they then whisper sweet nothings into our own ears, I got no choice but to follow their every whim and command, which is to take out Captain Claw and his crab army. He's adorable though, and he helps us break the charm controlling me, and I can take myself and Mr. Krabs back to the Sliver Sisters to take them out together. Dragon Lord, end of the world, blah blah, let's go. On the way to him, I find a spirit tank, which we assume he's using to power himself up, though we take out all the defenders and smash the glass, where it's actually revealed it held the soul of the love of his life, which was the reason he was doing all of this, to resurrect them so they can be back together again. That is an entire bouquet of whoopsie daisies right there. The Dragon Lord introduces himself, and this fight is really cool. We have to fight him off alongside waves of these dragon specters that can throw us off the map, but there's so much going on that I get confused and I'm shooting a floating rock for a bit that I'm pretty sure does nothing and is just part of the background. Kind of embarrassing, but it's okay. And then the Lord of Dragons summons a giant dragon spirit named Bernadette after the love of his life that we banished from this realm moments ago. They keep protecting each other, so I go back and forth draining their health until the dragon falls and the Lord kneels. Kind of a bar. He hands us the Sword of Souls and offers us his neck to sever, but we refuse, instead using the Sword of Souls to bring back our long lost queen, rolling the credits. And Wonderlands is a lot of fun, so it seems crazy for me to say this, but I do think it's the worst Borderlands game. Is that a hot take? I've got no idea. I'm sure the comments will tell me though. But we aren't done yet. The Dragon Lord apologizes to Stallion, who banishes him to spend 200 years in her castle, and that's where our final challenge lies. We don't have any raid bosses here. We don't have New Game Plus, True Vault Hunter, Ultimate Vault Hunter, nothing. We have Chaos Chambers. They're kind of like OP levels from Borderlands 2. Each one gives all the enemies way more health, way more damage. But first we get knighted, Ding Trophy, and we unlock the enchantment table, which I use for Ding Trophy. One slight problem though, I completed every side quest, but I didn't get the Ding Trophy. Starting to panic here. I look it up online and see so many people saying they soft locked the game. I'd have to complete the entire 100% again. I wanted to cry. I was 40 hours into the game. It's 40 degrees in England. I was upset. So I took a day or two away from the game, and when I come back I said fine. I loaded up expecting to have to start all of this again, or maybe even delete the footage. Ding Trophy. Thank you, Gearbox. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, which is slightly off camera. That motivated me to smash out the co-op trophies. First one, we do a little trade, Ding Trophy, and finally I sacrifice little Lewis to the Wonderlands so I can revive them over and over again, getting Ding Trophy. And with all that mess sorted, there's only the Chaos Chambers trophies left. I have to fight my way through the harder and harder random encounters. Each one gains me a chaos level, and I need to get all the way to 20. And I'm not going to show all of this because we'll be here forever. I had to run this over 20 times, but I'll show some of the boss fights. More like Bitch, more like Salis, suck my dick. Can't keep that in, right? More like No Chance, more like Para Light You on Fire is what I would have said if I lit them on fire, which I never. More like Dragon Board, as this fight's putting me to sleep, it's so easy. And LeChance again, really? Huh? I kind of added names for this guy. More like LeChoke on this. And with all the Chaos Chambers done, there's just one Tiny Tina trophy left, and that is the one that inspired the title of this video, the worst trophy I think I completed in the Borderlands saga. I have to get every single SDU expansion. I've completed the entire game and all of the content, and I need maybe 100 times the gold I have right now. So I max out the Chaos Chamber so it gives me as much money as possible and dump another 50 hours into this game before I can finally go back and get Ding Trophy for completing one set, and finally Ding Trophy completing all the sets. And for some reason the plat wasn't popping, and at this point I'm having PTSD flashbacks to that 100% side quest from earlier. I'm panicking. Oh no, it's the final trophy. Ding Trophy. Wonderlands. The highs are high, but the lows are low. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, like it. If you love it, feel free to subscribe and watch one of the others in the series. Next up, we're playing Borderlands 4. I've hidden every part of that game from myself. I've got no idea who the Vault Hunters are, no idea who the story is. It's gonna be a hot mess, just like every other video on the channel. Love you lots.